Hello and welcome. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator and this is the long-awaited fly-by-wire Airbus A380. Now, according to Airbus, any pilot who holds an Airbus type rating of any of the aircraft that are currently in production should be able to fly any of the other aircraft that are currently in production. It's one of the big selling points of Airbus, of course, that you don't need a type rating if you switch between any of the types. All you need is a fairly short difference course. I believe you also need some sim sessions to practice the landing, and then you're good to go. So that makes it a lot easier, quicker, and of course cheaper than if you change between any of the Boeing aircraft, let's say from the 737 to the 787. So I've downloaded the aircraft, I've installed it, I haven't looked at any of the manuals, and I'm gonna see if I can find my way around the A380 as an A320 pilot. Now the first thing I gotta say, well, two things really. First of all, let's be honest, it's not the prettiest of aircraft, at least in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, it is a masterpiece. From a technical standpoint, this is an amazing aircraft, but I always felt, I don't know, it just looks a bit off. I'm not sure. The proportions are a bit weird. The second thing is, this thing is huge. It is absolutely huge. To give you an idea, so over here we have an A320, that's the aircraft I fly. The wingspan of this aircraft fits from here to here. So the wingspan of the horizontal stabilizer is the same as the entire wingspan of the A320, which is pretty amazing. Now, do I know anything about this aircraft? A teeny tiny bit. Many of my colleagues that I fly with on a regular basis used to fly the A380, and so I've asked them lots of questions about the aircraft. They told me some really cool things, but a lot of them were quite technical and detailed, and I don't think we are there yet with the A380 by fly-by-wire. This is after all just an early alpha build, so I think the basics will be there, but all the nerdy small details are probably still missing. Okay, let's jump into the cockpit. Okay, full disclosure, I have spent a few minutes on the flight deck. The simple reason is that I just wanted to have a look around to see where everything is, because I think it's very boring for you to watch a video where all I do is just search for buttons and all you hear is verbal head scratching. That's not a good content, so just spend some time to familiarize myself with everything. The other thing I've done is I fired up the EFB and I connected my SimBrief ID with the aircraft. So what are we going to do today? We are going to fly a real-world flight that used to be operated by Singapore Airlines. It was SQ106, which operated from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur and back. One of the shortest regular A380 flights ever. Flight time was around 15 minutes. We are flying from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. Takeoff time used to be at 11 o'clock. We should be arriving at the gate at 12:10. We'll be taking off from runway 32 right, and planned landing at the moment is 02 left, which is the shorter runway, but we're gonna be very light. I don't think it shouldn't be a problem. The arrival gate is usually Charlie 32 from what I could find out, and that's the plan for today. So all real world stuff. I actually don't know if that flight is still operated or not. I couldn't find it on Flight Radar, so I believe no longer, but it certainly used to be a regular thing, and I thought this is a nice introduction to the A380, a nice quick flight, light aircraft, and yeah, so let's have a look around. So just very briefly, the overhead panel to me looks very familiar. A lot of things are exactly in the same place. I think I'm gonna find my way around here very easily. The only thing I've noticed is a huge amount of fuel pumps. Look at this. This is amazing. I thought Concorde was bad. Coming here down, this looks very different. The FCU is completely different. There are all these weird screens here. I have no idea what they are doing. But I mean, we have things like altitude, approach, and speed, so I think if that's all we need, then I should be fine. Screens, we'll see once they fire up. And then down here, I presume these are the, well, those two must be the MCDUs. They are probably going to be a bit different, although looking at these buttons here, they are very similar to the A320, so hopefully I should be fine. This is very, very similar. The only thing I'm missing here is the weather radar and the no, not the transponder, I don't know, TCAS? It's all a bit, this is very different here, the bottom bit, and there's things missing. So yeah, we're gonna have to see. Also, there are no ignition buttons, but I think I've seen one up here. Yes, engine start. So they've just moved it up here now. No idea why, but yes. Also, I have no idea in which order to start these engines. I seem to remember way back when in FSX, when I flew the PMDG 747, that we used to start the outer ones and then the inner ones. So I guess we'll do 1, 4, 3, 2 or something like that. Yeah, we'll have a look. I don't know if that has a negative effect or not if we start up the incorrect engines first. Okay, so I've already done a very detailed video about how to fire up an Airbus. We're going to follow the same procedure here and then see how we get along with this aircraft. Okay, so we start with parking brake on. That's that way. Then we should have the weather radar off, but I can't see the weather radar. It's probably included somewhere else, so we leave that for now. The gear lever is down and the wipers are off, and then we go to the batteries. Now there is no screen that tells me how much voltage they have, so I assume this is actually monitored by the aircraft itself. So we're just gonna switch on the batteries and then connect the external power. Now again, I'm not sure how many external powers we need, but given how big this aircraft is and how many sources there are that draw power, I'm just gonna connect all of them. Makes sense to me. Not sure if this is correct. Okay, I like this. This is really cool. So we can come here. Let's type in 150 tons. And we can literally watch how the fuel goes in and out and which tanks it goes in and out. That is really cool. So 24.3. I think this is in kilograms. There we are. Very nice. I have to say the fuel distribution is a bit weird to me, but okay, if that's what it is, that's what it is. So we now have the fuel. We have the flight plan. So we usually start with the init page. We make sure it's all filled in. The trip wind is missing. Let's see if I can find that. So according to SimBrief, trip wind is 0. So I'm just gonna leave that for now. Next will be the flight plan. So how do I choose the departure? Right. Usually we would click on here. Oh, it works. Departure, runway. So we're taking off from runway 32 right, and we are flying Roost 1 Delta. There it is. We'll empty that. Okay, insert, that's the same. Oops. Okay. How do we go down? Is it here? Okay. So that leaves us at Sumco. Yes, and Sumco arrival will be landing on 02 left. And SimBrief hasn't given me a star, so we'll just do a direct arrival. Okay. Interesting. It's different, but somehow it is familiar, which is interesting. How do I get rid of the discontinuity? Okay, I found it. So you just click on the waypoint and then delete it, and you do the same with the discontinuity. So that is different from the A320. Okay, so we have the fuel. We've done this. There's no secondary flight plan. At least, I mean, is secondary index? Is that what it is? Active flight plan. Okay. Well, let's carry on. Navigate. Okay, so that's already all set. And then we would usually go to the init B page, where we will put in things like the zero fuel weight and all that stuff. Let's have a look. Fuel and load. Here we go. Zero fuel weight, the CG, and the block fuel. Well, the block fuel we know. Okay, so you can use the keyboard. That's interesting. Right, so we've put in the block fuel. Next is zero fuel weight and CG. Okay, so according to the EFB, we have a zero fuel weight of 330.8 and the CG is 3535, which according to this graph is all within limits. So let's have a look. So we click here, zero fuel weight 330.8 and the CG 35.35. Perfect. Finally, we would put in the performance. Where is performance? Here. Okay, perfect. Okay, according to SimBrief, we'll be taking off with flaps 1 with a, well, we have no shift today. The V speeds are going to be 142, 142, 146. So 142, 142, 146. And we'll be taking off with flex, and the flex temperature is 66. And where do I put in my flaps setting? Here it is. Flaps 1 is selected, and then we need to put in the percentage. Usually on the Airbuses the neutral one is 30.0. Let's see if that works. Packs on, anti-as off, all good. And there is no progress page here, is there? Let's have a look. Not that I can see. So I think we filled in everything we need. Let's see if there's anything else. IRS. So it looks like they are aligned. That's very good. And data, status, debug. Okay. I presume there is no data page where we can just check our flight plan by creating a pilot's route. I think that's, yeah, that's too far down. Let's have a look at the NDs. QNH, let's set that. Okay, so we have the flaps here. Oh, they have the CG here. Oh, okay. So here it says 37.0. Well then, if that's what the aircraft wants us to do, 37.0. Okay. Now, because I'm flying on my own, and I want to hand fly a little bit, I'll put in the cruising altitude here already. The flight directors, there's only one. That's interesting. Okay. And the speed should actually be taken care of by the aircraft. I really don't know what this is. Maybe it's the bird. That's the only thing I can think of. So this is the same. Can we change that? Yes, we can. Perfect. Well, I'm pretty happy. I think we're good to go. This needs to be off. I don't know if the A380 also needs this on. We'll do it anyway. So the rest is looking pretty good. Well, in that case, let's start the APU. and then the engines, and let's see if I can fly this thing. Okay, the APU is running, and I found the switches. It's actually the same as on the A320. It's just they're really well hidden away. Okay, this is really cool. I like this. Upper, main. We can see all the seats that are occupied. That's pretty cool. Let's see, do we have checklists here? We should do. Pretty sure we do. Ground services. I suppose we can get rid of the jet bridge and the ground power unit. Very good. Here's the checklist. Okay, cockpit preparation checklist, gear pins, covers removed. Fuel quantity, we have, this is down here. I don't know why they moved this down here. Anyway, 24,300 kilograms balanced. Seat belts. Where are the seat belts on this thing? Oh, here. Okay, same. No mobile. We switch that on as well. Seat belts on. Barref QNH 1009er. We only have one standby. The second one is not working. I don't know why. Maybe that's my mistake, or it's just not implemented yet. Cockpit preparation checklist is complete. Before start checklist. Parking brake is on. Takeoff speeds and thrust. Okay. I guess we click on performance. Yes. 142, 142, 146, flex 66. Beacon is on. Before start checklist is complete. This is fun because this is actually exactly the same checklist that we have in the A320. So that's yeah, that's exactly the same. Okay, let's see if I can do a pushback. You may have noticed I've removed the traffic. This is because I've noticed that performance is not the best, so we want to get rid of that. And in terms of pushback, I'm just going to go old-fashioned and use the good old pushback tool from way back when. Okay, the weather has worsened. Very nice. I don't know why, but the forecast didn't say it would worsen, but anyway. So our taxi is going to be very short. The departure runway is just over there, so I think we'll just push back with the nose this way and then just taxi out and do the lineup. So I have no idea if this works. Let's try. So we call the tug. Okay, we need to switch on all these fuel pumps, I guess, which is crazy. There we go. Okay, beacon lights are on. So that looks pretty good to me. We release the parking brake. Let's go outside. Okay, let's do this nice and slow. Reduce the speed and start. Okay, let's start with engine number 4. So I presume this is the same as on the other Airbuses. And engine 4, start. I don't know why this is not on engine down here automatically. Is anything happening? Yes, the start valve is open. Let's go outside. Oh, hang on a second. Schoolboy error. I think APU bleed. Oh, bugger. How embarrassing. Okay, let's try again. So the valve is open. Yes, now we are cooking. I can see the fan turning. Let's carry on with the push. I never remember, is it left or right? Is this nose or tail? Let's try. Ah, okay, right. It's a big aircraft. Okay, number 4 seems to be doing well. Let's start number 1. Straight. Okay, push complete. Set parking brake. Parking brake is set. Let's get rid of the pushback truck. Now, I don't know which one is next. Eeny, meeny, miny, moo. Okay, number 2. Okay, so with the transponder is on standby. Well, if I would know where the transponder is, I would do something about it. Okay, let's start engine number 3. So I found the ident, but it still says standby. I'll have a look. Maybe I'll figure it out later on. For the time being, number 3 is starting up, and I think we are looking good. Okay, engines are running. Norm. Then we usually arm the ground spoiler. Okay, so flaps 1. Oops. No. Flaps 1. How do we set the trim? The wheel is missing, which is weird. So I guess we use this thing here. I guess. So so this is the wheel. That's interesting. So we just move it on 37.0. Okay. Very good. And yeah, transponder, I'm still... Yeah, some of you are probably screaming at the screen right now. Is it here? No, not really. Yeah, I don't know. I need to look this up somewhere. We're on our own in this world. There's no other aircraft, no ATC. So it's not a big problem at the moment. Okay, let's do a flight control check. These are all different, but anyway, where are the flight controls? Ah, over there. Okay. Oh wow, that's a cool screen, isn't it? So let's have a look. So let's do it properly. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Flight control check is complete. Right, let's have a look. After start checklist, anti-ice off, pitch trim is set, and the rudder trim is neutral. After start checklist is complete. Next we're gonna have the taxi checklist. Because I'm on my own, I will have a look at this now. Flight controls checked, flap setting, config 1+F, radar on. Well, I wish. Gas is not implemented. Well, let's just say it's on. Right, this is split. Interesting, we don't have this. Seatbelts are on. Ground spoilers are armed. Flaps are in the takeoff position. Auto brake. Where's auto brake? It's here. Yes. Auto brake RTO. And takeoff config test. This should be here. Yes. Okay, no warnings. Then the taxi checklist is complete. Right. let's see if I can do this. Let's see, we're cleared for taxi. So we put on the nose lights to taxi, and that I think is it. We can switch off the APU. Yep, off we go. Let's see if we can move this thing. Parking brake off, and off we go. Brakes check. Yep. Okay, I'll take it nice and easy. Let's get a feel for the aircraft. Okay, we made it to the runway. I mean, I know we only taxied from here to here, but still. So it feels heavy. It feels very heavy. It has a lot of inertia. So when you do tight turns, you really have to take it nice and slow. And look how much of the wing is actually overhanging the taxiway. This is crazy. That's like half the wing is no longer above the taxiway. Anyway, we're ready, so let's go. Let's switch on the strobe lights. These can already come on. We are already cleared for takeoff, so let's switch those on, and the rest is fine. This should be off, but this should have come off automatically, really. Okay, let's do the lineup checklist. Takeoff runway. Runway 32 right is identified. Cabin crew is advised. Packs 1 and 2 are on. Lineup checklist is complete. Okay, the approach sector is checked. Runway 32 right is identified. And we have takeoff clear. Let's go. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Believe it or not, I'm actually nervous. So yeah, here we go. First takeoff, proper takeoff in an Airbus A380. Let's advance to 50. Okay, come on, thrust levers. Let's go for toga. Man toga, SOS runway, A thrust blue. B1, rotate. Nav, positive climb, gear up. That was a fast takeoff. I even missed the 100 call. Jeez. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get these thrust levers. The pitch is a lot less sensitive than I thought it would be. Thrust climb, climb, A thrust, and flap 0. Okay, let's see if we can hand fly this thing. So the pitch is surprisingly light, I have to say. If we just push, if we just pitch up and down for a bit, the roll feels heavy, so that's way slower than on an A320. Okay, let's pitch up again. Let's see what happens. Yeah. But it feels nice. It feels very stable. So if I set the pitch and let go, it just holds it. Exactly like the real aircraft. So that's good. Okay. AP1. I guess this is, yeah. Wow, we are already at almost 10,000 feet. That's crazy. Okay, 10,000 feet. Oops, set standard. Standard cross-check passing 12,700 feet. Now, landing lights can come off. Nose lights can come off. Seat belts, I guess we can have them come off. And there she goes. Yeah, it felt weird. Well, not weird. It just felt like a small aircraft all of a sudden. It accelerated really fast. I know we are light, but man, that was quick. V1 came before I knew what was happening. The problem is I actually have 4 independent thrust levers, and it's not easy to actually get them all nicely synchronized exactly into the climb or flex gate, which is a bit annoying, and I don't really want to look down here when really I should be looking out there. So maybe for this aircraft I will actually bind all of these, or maybe I'll do it 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 to one of the thrust levers, because 2 and 3 have their reverses. Not sure, I'll think of something. Right now it's not great the way I have it set up for 4-engine aircraft. So what do all these things here do? Constraint, waypoint. Oh, okay, so if I activate this, okay, it will give me the constraints. This will give me waypoints. Ah, I see, I get it now. And here we have the airports. Yes, very good, very good. Let's keep it on 160. Man, this thing climbs 5,000 feet per minute. It's really not necessary. Let's slow it down a bit. And I'll give the speed back to the aircraft. Speed. And there you have it. I managed to take off, which is, I guess, in a way, an achievement. I still don't know how to activate either TCAS or the transponder. I'm gonna have a look at that on YouTube at some point. But I mean, part of the experiment is to see whether I can figure this aircraft out by myself. Okay, very nice. Let's cruise for a bit and then we'll start the descent. Okay, we are descending. I've filled in the weather down here. Looks like we're gonna have a very nice calm day in Singapore. Quite warm, but apart from that, really nice. I'm currently trying the managed descent and it seems to be doing a pretty good job. So all that is going well. I've decided to go for auto brake low. I would assume that for a light aircraft like this that should be fine, and we'll be landing with full flaps. Again, I'm not sure whether this is realistic or whether they would just land with flaps 3, but for the time being that's just what we're gonna do. Okay, let's make our way to the ILS. Okay, we are about to join the ILS. I've slowed down to 240 feet. We've read the approach checklist and we are cleared down to 3,000 feet. So I'm using a bit of speed brakes just because I want to be a bit more conservative with this approach. I've never flown this aircraft before, so we're gonna take it nice and easy. So at 4,000 feet, which is about now, we'll start reducing. I'm going to use the same speeds that we use on the A320. Flaps 1, speed checked, flaps 1. Flaps 2, speed checked. Flaps 2. Okay, the ILS is identified. We are 21 miles out. So we're actually quite low, but that's okay. I want to take it nice and easy. This aircraft is huge, has a lot of weight, and I want to make sure everything goes well. Speed Alt star. Okay, so we are cleared for the approach. Glide slope blue, lock blue, Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2. So we should be flying past Sumco and then we turn left and go on to the localizer, and later on onto the ILS, the glide path. Here we go. Okay, here comes the glide path. Let's slow her down to 180. Glide slope star, and we are on the ILS. Okay, 7 miles out. Let's do gear down. And flaps 3, speed checked. Flaps 3. And flaps full, speed checked. Flaps full. Visibility is not the best. I mean, we still have 5 miles to go, but I can see the runway. Okay. So let's switch off the autopilot and do the rest manually. The auto thrust remains on. I hope I set up the reversers correctly. Let's see how that works. Landing checklist, econ memo, landing no blue, and the cabin is ready. 1000 is checked. Okay, autopilot off. Cat 3 single, Cat 1. Yeah, it feels very heavy. It just sits in the air like a wet sponge. Okay. I don't know when to flare. I would assume a bit earlier. So I think I'll start the flare at 30.
400.
Maybe 40 feet. Land.
Hundred above. Minimum.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20. Retard.
Okay. Spoilers, reverse green, decel. $70 knots. Manual braking.
Auto brake off.
Here we are. And if I am correct, our gate should be right next to the runway. That's the gates for the A380s here in Singapore. So let's get off the runway. Yeah, not the best landing, but it's a landing. Let's have a look. Yeah, our gate should be just here. Let's stop briefly here, coming off the runway. Okay, landing lights off. These go to taxi, the strobe lights come off, we can start the APU. Flaps are up, speed brakes are disarmed. I believe that's all we need to do. Okay, then let's taxi, to the gate. Our performance is now becoming a bit of an issue, I think. Okay, we are turning into the gate. Let's have a look if we can park this thing. Let's go to here, A380. Okay. Parking brake is set. Engine cooldown time has elapsed. APU is running, APU bleed is on. Engine's off. With that we can switch off the beacon lights and the seatbelts. And that's how we do that. Parking checklist, parking brake or chocks in place, engines off, wing lights off, fuel pumps are about to be off. I guess we do all of them. Parking checklist is complete. Well, if you're still here, then yeah, thank you for staying with me for this entire time. The question was, can an A320 pilot fly the A380? I think not. There were several moments when I just felt completely out of my depth. It's weird. There's a lot of stuff that's exactly the same, and I do feel kind of at home in this cockpit. And I feel like I know the cockpit, but then there are certain things that are just very different. And I guess that's exactly what the difference course is going to be about in the real world. Learning those differences. But yeah, I mean, the fact alone that I could just jump in and take off, fly and land without reading any manuals shows that there are a lot of things that are pretty much identical than on the other Airbuses. So yeah, that was it. The takeoff was a bit of a mess, apologies for that. I need to find a better setup for my thrust levers. This is 4 engines, all individual. That's just not gonna work. And the landing, I think, is a bit on the hard side, but yeah, whatever. It was in the touchdown zone and it was all good. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, in case you're wondering why I'm a bit whispering, it's in the middle of the night and my son and my wife are both sleeping, and I just don't want to wake them up. But this was the only time when I could do this video. I'm quite busy the next few days with life and flying in the real world. So yeah, just wanted to squeeze this one in, and I hope I will do more flights. I'll do them off camera and try to get to know the aircraft a little bit better. And that's it, that's the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting and not too frustrating. In any case, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, all the best. Bye bye.